Hello, everybody. I'm trying to get you all logged in here, so just bear with me. And I know I'm poking at my screen. People tell me, Patty, you're poking at your screen. Hi, everybody. Hi. Hello, how are you? I tried to curl my hair this morning, but it said, nope, not today. Hi, how's everybody doing? Oh, thank you so much. I appreciate you more than you know. I have 9 more pounds until I hit my goal weight. 9 pounds, 9. And I wish I could pick where I took it from. We all wish we could pick where we take it from, right? Oh, thank you. Thank you, thank you. I know people have questions. I have a statement I want to make. I don't remember if it's Assembly Bill 12 or 14. My blonde brain will not let me remember it properly. It has to do with security deposits. It's 12. Thank you, Arlene. It has passed the House of the Assembly and now is on Gavin Newsom's desk for vote. I use the 310 nutrition shake. You guys want to check that out? And then no carbs. I snack on lunch meat, cheese, and nuts. And I don't eat many carbs. And now I find if I have pizza, I take a 4-hour nap. Carbs don't like me, which sucks because I love sourdough bread, but it's working, not complaining. No exercise required. All right. Try it, 310nutrition.com, 310nutrition.com. It's a meal replacement shake. I actually found that I was getting enough nutrients and protein by using that shake than eating on my own. So it helped me tremendously because I couldn't eat enough nutrition and protein. So I did it a different way and it worked great. It's still working great. I know people have questions today and I'm hoping to utilize those. Watch the maximum security deposit. It's up to Gavin Newsom now and we all know how he votes. So watch it. Fill up your buckets while the grunting are running because they're not going to run forever. They're not going to run forever. All right, I know we have questions. I'm waiting because I know specifically somebody has a question for me out there. Here it comes, Amy. I got questions. You want to unmute yourself or you want to type them? You typed them. I have questions regarding a tenant in a condo in Redondo Beach. If we want tenants to sign another year lease, but the tenants want to go month to month once the lease expires in August, is there anything you can do? The reason behind this is the owners plan to move back in a year and don't want the possibility of having to sign another tenant mid-year and have nowhere to stay when they return. Letting people in, bear with me. It is a much better business practice to have tenants on a month-to-month tenancy rather than a 1-year contract. Wait, Patty, what did you just say? We've done 1-year contracts for as long as I've been in the industry. What are you talking about? Well, about 20 years ago, we had a problem with tenants moving into properties, staying 30 days and then vacating. They'd move in, stay there for 2 months, and then they'd vacate. Am I still frozen? Am I still frozen? I don't want to be frozen. I can move closer to the window. I have better signal there. Okay, we're good. So the reason that we started utilizing 1-year contracts was to keep tenants in place for longer or for a year at a time so that we weren't flipping those vacants. The reasoning behind it was the real estate market. Wait, what, Patty? What? Wait, what? Yeah, it was really easy to buy a house at the time. So a lot of people were purchasing homes. The interest rate was really low. They had great incentive programs for first-time buyers. This was about 20 years ago. People were renting a property, staying there for a month or two until escrow closed, and then vacating and moving in. So we don't have that problem anymore. We don't have people that want to move in and just stay for a month or two and then vacate. For the most part, we're speaking about tenants now that move in and stay there. We don't have the problem of them moving in, staying 2 months and wanting to leave. That's not an issue in our market right now. AB 1482 says that if a tenant stays in a property for longer than 12 months, you owe a relocation fee. So under AB 1482, which is statewide rent control, if you put someone on a 1-year lease to start, you're agreeing to pay them relocation fees. Got it? It's a better business practice to put people on a month-to-month at Hello. And if you don't like them by month 11, you could give them a 30-day notice to vacate and not pay relocation fees because they didn't live there for 12 months. A month-to-month is a much better choice. If you currently have a 1-year lease in place, please read the verbiage on your contract. The chances are it says that it will continue on a month-to-month when the term is over. And the reality of that is it automatically becomes a month-to-month when they don't give you notice to vacate and you accept the rent. You turn it into a month-to-month tenancy after their term is over. Those are still the rules they have to follow. It's just their term for time has expired. Got it? So even on a month-to-month contract, if you put them in there on a 30-day at Hello and that 30-day expires, those are still the rules they have to follow. That's still their written rental contract. Got it? The reason a month-to-month is a better process at Hello is so that you can avoid paying those relocation fees. I mean, let's face it, if somebody moves into a property and they're challenging us and they're a thorn in our side and they're beating us down every time we try to talk to them, maybe it's not meshing and we don't want to continue on the relationship as a tenant. You have the right to terminate that month-to-month tenancy before 12 months is over so that you don't have to pay that last month's rent as a relocation fee. That's what the month-to-month and under 12 months is all about. If we're talking to somebody and signing a 1-year lease contract at Hello, are we agreeing to pay them relocation fees at Hello? We are, because they've been there for longer than 1 year. Got it? So for those of us that don't want to pay those relocation fees, it might be a much better business practice at Hello to start on a month-to-month rather than a term. We're also seeing corporate America start on a 3-month contract to start instead of 12 months. So now corporate America is making that change as well. And instead of putting them on a 12-month contract at Hello, they may do 3 months or 6 months, but they're not, for the most part, doing 12 months anymore. As these rules keep getting thrown at us, we have to figure them out, not outside of the box, but outside of the building, okay? So sometimes we have little tips and tricks in our arsenal that help deter us around the new legislation that keeps getting dumped on us.
Okay, so there's nothing the owners can do to force a 1 year. They just go month to month, and if they leave midway, they leave midway with a 30-day notice. That's
exactly.
Okay.
And
okay.
For the part, people that are moving into a property, they want a 1-year contract. They want a term for time. They want a commitment for time. And that's okay. Because that tells you right away, they're going to stay there past that 30 days. So they're telling you what they're going to do, and you need to listen to the writing on the wall. So when they say, no, I want that 1-year contract. A 1-year contract means you, the landlord, cannot change any terms or any rules for that whole year. A month to month, you can serve a 30-day notice to change of terms of tenancy and change the rules whenever you want to. See how that worked? Okay. So that's why I tell, and I'll tell you this right now, a lease hurts the landlord, not the tenant. An attorney will tell you that. They've been telling me for decades. Leases help tenants, not landlords. Because you can't change the rules, you can't touch them, you can't raise the rent, you can't do anything until their term expires. So this puts you in a better level of control. And like I said, we don't have issues with tenants moving and wanting to stay 1 or 2 months and then bailing. That's not what's happening in the most part of California right now. So don't let that be a concern. That's why we started 1-year contracts. We don't have that problem. So it's okay if you want to make that change. Some municipalities require 1-year contracts and renewable at 1-year contracts. So please notice what your municipality requires before you listen to what I just said.
Okay. Thank you, Patty.
No worries. Does that help put it all in perspective?
Yes.
Why?
Yes, it
Okay.
does. Thank you.
Great
Thank
question.
you.
I wanted to share it with everybody, and thank you for waiting till today to ask me.
Yes.
It was perfect. Thank you. I had a lease for a year in 2019. The tenant's still in the property and the tenant is out and now on a month to month. Correct. Those are still the rules your tenant has to follow. Their time has expired, but those are their rules. If you have 1 month to rent, do you have to give them a 30-day notice for change payment on rent? If you have 1 month to rent, do you have to give them a 30-day notice for change payment on the rent? Rachel, I don't know what you're asking me. Ask it a different way, okay? And it might be that I'm just a blonde, but rephrase your question a different way and I'll try to answer it. Sometimes I can't, my blonde brain won't let me comprehend what you're asking or put it in a way that I can answer it. And it's me. Trust me, it's me. Just ask it a different way and I'll try to help assist you the best way that I can. And then does anybody have anything else that they want to talk about today? Nothing on pending legislation anybody's worried about? Another question. Here we go. Okay, Amy.
I have another one. Yeah.
Okay, it's a big one. Why don't you just
Sorry.
ask it?
Okay, let me look at it. So there's a 2-bedroom unit condo in Culver City. They rented out to a friend for cheap rent, just one of the bedrooms, because the other bedroom is a storage unit closed off. The lease doesn't state that, it just has a whole unit on there. But no, they did not require a deposit and super cheap rent. They thought the tenant friend would move out after a year, and they moved out of the country. And now after the year lease expires in July, they want to re-rent the unit out, 2-bedroom in Culver City, for market rent. The tenant, their friend, wants to stay. They want to collect a deposit, increase rent. What would you suggest that they do?
Unfortunately,
Yeah, go ahead.
Go ahead.
I just said the tenant knows that this was a big favor. So they said that he was willing to pay a deposit and pay more rent. I don't know if he knows how much more. So part of the reason he's staying is because, well, it's such a good deal, right? And I don't know anything about the tenant. So I'm like, I don't know if he knows anything. So what would you suggest that we do?
Well, I'll be honest with you. They have you in a conundrum.
Yes.
Because you can't raise rents over 10% for a tenant in possession because of California Penal Code 396, paragraph B, price gouging during a state of emergency. It'll land you 6 months in jail and a $10,000 fine. So with that being said, you would have to completely move them out and remove them in on a new contract with a new deposit in order to completely protect yourself. The tenant in possession do this, and they may use this to their advantage. The other thing they do is they're renting a room in their house.
Yes.
You could always do a 60-day notice that the owner wants to move back into their property, or they want to sell it or permanently remove it from the rental market or something along those lines, waive their last month's rent and get them out that way. But then I'd sell the property in LA County. Want to use that as an excuse and then not do, they could sue you for $500,000. And quite frankly, it's not worth the risk. So But it all depends on how good of a friend that person is in
Yeah.
possession and how much they value the friendship. No joke.
Okay. So to
I-
protect themselves, it could work if they move him out. Does that mean physically move out everything? And then have him be like a new tenant and sign everything new if he agrees to all of this. Okay. That's like their only option because they were considering selling. So that's another option. Okay.
And if he starts to buck,
Yeah.
sell him in it, it's much easier. Just saying.
Okay.
Sell
Okay.
it with much easier.
Okay.
Helps.
Yes. Thank you.
No worries, no worries. I have a question about towing. Okay, Melanie, I'll find it. Melanie, there you are. Question on parking in LARSO. Last week I asked you what to do with tenants parking, blocking, and other tenants, and you suggested a tow company. We tried that and will not work as the tow companies say there isn't room for them to remove the car safely. What now? You may have to do a 30-day notice to change the terms of tenancy and assign parking. You might even have to go to the planning commission to have them help you map it out. Parking is assigned and they're not parking in their assigned spaces. And a tow truck company said that they couldn't tow them out of the property safely. Call another tow truck company. They don't want your money. Just saying. If people really want your money, they will work for you. Make sense? Hold on. I got a funny, okay? I say the same things about attorneys for tenants. If your tenant runs around to enough of them, eventually one of them will take their money. I have always done a month to month because you never know who you're really renting to in the end. Tony, I couldn't agree with you more, girl. They only put on the applications the numbers they want you to call. Remember that. On their application, they are giving you a phone number of their previous landlord, but it could be Uncle Tom because they are only giving you the numbers they want you to call. Okay, I'm now really renting it, but now some programs I am working with might require a lease and don't do month to month. So I am going to do a 5-month lease when need be and maybe renew another 5 months and then no longer renew the lease. So I won't fall under the 1-year tenant protection for relocation fees. So is that okay to do? Kind of. After they've lived there for 12 months, they're entitled to a relocation fee under AB 1482. After the tenant has been in possession for 12 months. If you want to terminate tenancy, you have to pay the relocation fee at no cause to the tenant. At no fault of the tenant. Sorry, I used the wrong word and caught myself. It took me like 3.2 seconds to catch my own error. So if you want to move back in, that's at no fault of the tenant. If the tenant didn't pay rent, that's their fault and we can evict them when we don't pay relos. But we pay relos at a no fault of the tenant. So I want to move back in, I want to sell, that's not the tenant's fault. Then we're paying relos. I hope that made sense to you, Tony. Patty, single family residence in city of Los Angeles. This is Erin. Hi, Erin. Tenant has lived there since the early 90s. The owner's selling the property. Is the tenant due relocation? What is the bill or the law so we can reference? Hold on. I have to know that it's in the city of Los Angeles. Hold on. I know Erin gave me all the information. I just got to get in my brain. So it's in the city of Los Angeles. Play along with me, but it's exempt from LARSO because it's a single family, right? Are they exempt from the Tenant Protection Act is my question. In other words, did you disclose exemption of the Tenant Protection Act? Okay. If you didn't, then you owe 1 month's rent as a relocation fee under the Tenant Protection Act, also known as AB 1482, also known as California Civil Code 1946.2, I think. Don't hold me to that. And then, Aaron, pay attention, please, because you're not governed by LARSO and you're not covered by DCBA. If you want to give them a notice to terminate tenancy and waive their last month's rent as a relocation fee, you have to give a copy of the notice to LAHD, LA Housing Department. Okay. So yes, you can. It's 1 month's rent as a relocation fee, either under AB 1482 or under the state law. But the more important thing is you can serve a 60-day notice, but you must give a copy of that notice to LAHD within 3 days of you serving the tenant. Okay. They park in their assigned space, but extra car using same remote to get in the park to block cars. Start serving them a notice if they're blocking cars. Start serving them right to quiet enjoyment and let them know that you're going to tow their vehicle. They're affecting neighboring residents' right to quiet enjoyment by blocking the driveway so that they can't leave. Geraldo, should I be asking the previous landlord for proof of ownership, rental receipts, etc., to prove that they were really the landlord? Geraldo, you're only calling the number that the tenant wants you to call. Process that one more time, okay? You're only calling the phone number the tenant wants you to call. It might not be the landlord. And if you start asking them to prove their landlord, is your tenant that's trying to do this going to start screaming you're discriminating? Most likely. Your credit report's going to tell you everything you need to know. You just need to learn how to read it. Example, if your tenant has unpaid utility bills on there, I don't rent to them. If they don't pay their utility bills, they're not going to pay the rent. That's how I look at it. I overlook medical debt. I also overlook student loans. I also overlook cell phone bills. So there's 3 things I overlook. I overlook cell phone bills, I overlook student loans, and I overlook, now I forgot it. I don't overlook utility bills. If they have an unpaid utility bill on their credit report, that's an automatic denial for me, because I look at it as if you don't pay your water or your trash or your electric, you're sure not going to pay your rent. So remember, you're only calling the person on the application that your applicant wants you to call. Keep that in mind. Stop getting them to try to prove that they're a great tenant. 9 times out of 10, I don't even call that number. I utilize the information off of the credit report. Roadrunner, hey. God love you, because I already know it's going to be, this is in San Bernardino County, but she didn't put it this time. This is a single family home, not owned by a corporation. The tenants moved in last month. Halfway through the month, they paid security deposit and prorated rent. This month, they've not paid rent, and the wife says her husband moved out. Does the owner have any options for getting them out outside of an eviction? Can she give all money back and just make the wife move out, or just give the wife that option and hope she takes it? Serve a 3-day and start eviction. This is a new trend. I'm waiting for that. Wait, Patty. I know that West Hollywood requires a 1-year lease. Hear that, you guys? Hear Arlene? She's telling you West Hollywood requires a 1-year lease. What about LARSO? They might. I think they do. I have to look to be sure. Tony, do you know if LARSO requires a 1-year lease contract at Hello?
Patty, can I say something about LARSO?
Yeah.
No, it's not required.
Okay, thank you. And West Hollywood does. Remember when I said watch your municipalities for those that require a 1-year contract? I know there's some out there that do. I want to say Venice Beach does also, but I could be wrong. It could be Santa Monica. One of the beach cities requires a 1-year contract. And for the life of me, I don't remember if it's, and it's right near,
Cancel every day.
yeah, it's
And
near,
he's canceling every day.
so, Venice.
Patty, did Tony say it doesn't require a lease or just not a 1-year lease? What did
Well,
Tony say?
not require a 1-year contract. There we go. I got it. West Hollywood does, and so does Venice Beach requires 1-year contracts. There you go. I knew there was more than one. Val says, get the wife to take cash for keys. I'm going to let you know right now. It's a single family home not owned by a corporation. Tenants moved in last month. This is a trend that goes on. And what happens is husband is income qualified, wife is not. And they may be getting ready to get divorced and move into this property just so that they can separate. So see lots of weird things happen with this, of them trying to vacate and blah, they're not getting along, and let the wife stay there, but she can't afford the rent because she doesn't have a job, blah, 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 blah. Serve a 3-day start eviction. No joke. Or tell the wife she can get out now so that she doesn't have an eviction on her credit. Don't play with them. They may be playing you. It's the nicest way I could say that. Nothing yet as to 1-year leases, but we need to just keep checking just in case. Thank you, Tony. Yeah, they haven't. I know that there's 2 cities out there that require it. It's one of the Hollywoods, and I think it's North Hollywood. It's not Wicked West, because the Wicked Witch of the West is in West Hollywood. That's how I remember the Hollywood that's got the worst rules, is the Wicked Witch of the West Hollywood. Hey, there's a lot of stuff I got to remember, you guys. I use all kinds of tools to help me do that. I really do. And I may ask you questions at a later date of, hey, remember that house you have that starts with the letter B? You know, the street starts with the letter B. It's because I remember things in a weird way. In a very, very weird way. How are evictions going? Should I be worried about COVID scammers looking for a new place to live? Absolutely. In LA County, we're getting through a lot of evictions, okay? A lot of people are now getting locked out. We're being successful in many evictions in LA County. If you have a vacancy right now, do your research, do your due diligence, ask all the right questions. Chances are they could potentially have an eviction on their credit report. Remember, evictions don't show on credit reports, and they haven't since 2016. Okay. If you do see an eviction on somebody's credit report, it means the landlord won within the first 60 days of filing the case. And I don't know about you guys, but that tenant that ran within 60 days of me filing an eviction on them, that's the tenant I want. Chase them down. I want to rent to them. I do not want the tenant whose record is sealed and I can't see that they've been evicted and they have raked their landlord over the coals, asked for a trial by jury, stayed in the house for 11 months, owe them a crap ton of money. I don't want that tenant, but I can't see their eviction. So with that being said, please take into consideration when you do see an eviction on somebody's credit report that happened between now and 2016, take into consideration that they ran scared in the middle of the night or vacated within 60 days. I don't know about you guys, but that's who I want. Is that who you want? That's who I want. Evictions, welcome, inquire within. How do you split rent when there's two separate tenants on two separate leases in a unit? Is it by square footage? How do you split the rent when there's two separate tenants on two separate leases in one unit? So what you're saying to me sounds like a roommate agreement, if you will.
Yes.
And those rents are established at inception of the lease. So if you say you have two roommates, I always define the rooms inside. So I will put a letter A on one door, a letter B on another door, a letter C on another door. And the reason I do that is so I can define the unit on the rental agreement.
Mhm.
Makes It also helps me if I'm doing an eviction. I have to define the unit on a 3-day notice and all the way through the eviction proceedings. So the best way for you to do it in a residential scenario is to put either a unit number on the bedroom door or an alphabet letter on the bedroom doors. Make sense?
Yes.
Okay. That help? Okay.
But how would you divide the rent amount? Is it still by like square footage, or how would you do that?
It's by inception. So if you went one room for $1,500, you could rent another room for $2,000. There's nothing that's,
Okay.
but you're setting
noth-
that at.
Okay. You just said it. The owner just sets it.
Bingo. Renting rooms in
Okay.
a house falls under different definitions than a residential dwelling in whole. Make sense?
Okay. Yes.
Because they're not going to move in at the same time.
Okay.
So you're going to have two completely different contracts.
Yes. Yes. Thank you.
Regular sized truck with a tow hitch. It turns out it was an unmarked repo tow truck. It was there to tow my tenant's car in the street. After pulling it out safely, he moved and dragged it over to a position where he could hitch and tow it properly. Thank you, Tony. I agree with you. If they want the money, they'll do the work. Call another tow company. I agree. Should I say evictions welcome? And if they admit they were evicted, but it doesn't show up on their record, it means they were a scammer. I'm not going to comment on that, Geraldo. I'm going to let you answer your own question. New York City is now begging homeowners to rent rooms to illegal aliens, probably coming to LA soon. What do you think an ADU is? And watch yourself with ADUs, because there is one thing they are not talking about with an ADU. The second you convert the garage or add a second dwelling on the tax bill, the house that's been there this entire time has rent control under statewide legislation. And your ADU will be exempt for the first 15 years. The second it is 15 years and 1 day old, they both have rent control. On a state level, forget the city that you may be governed by, on a state level. And they're trying to repeal the Costa-Hawkins Act. I hope that falls on its face. We want Costa-Hawkins. Trust me, we want it. It's what gives landlords the right to move back into their own residential dwellings. And they are talking about repealing it and removing it. What do you mean I can't move into my own house? That's what Costa-Hawkins does. It lets a landlord move back into their rental property. It lets a landlord permanently remove it for the rental market so they can sell the property. If the repeal of Costa-Hawkins happens, we lose those rights. I know a certain governor that should be holding targets at the shooting range. Yes, I'm trying to be quiet. Anybody have anything else that they want to talk about? Something that we need precedent information on? Nothing? Okay, I'm going to speak up, so pay attention. LA City is now making it a requirement for air conditioning within the city. Wait, what? Watch yourselves, you guys. We're going to see more. Here it comes. Here it comes. It's now a requirement in all new construction. It doesn't mean you have to replumb your house to put in an air conditioner now, but it is now a requirement and a habitability issue. We're going to see more and more cities coming up with this. I could tell you right now that AC is a requirement in the cities of Barstow, Palm Springs, Palm Desert, Joshua Tree. Hold on, there's more. Hold on. Lancaster. That's why LA County's pushing it, is because it has desert properties up there in the Lancaster, Palmdale area within the county. Barstow, Lancaster, Palmdale, listen to me, okay? Global warming is real, okay? This is probably going to be the coolest summer on record, and it will be the hottest summer we've ever had. With that being said, we're going to see a lot more municipalities coming up with AC being a habitability issue or a requirement. It does not mean that you have to go install an AC unit in an existing building. What it means is new construction would require ACs. And if you have an AC unit, it is a habitability issue, not an amenity. So if it stops working, they don't owe rent. Okay. And we're probably going to see more areas come up with this because of the heat index, you guys. I'm surprised it's not a requirement in like the inland cities of like Riverside and Rancho Cucamonga, Fontana, where it gets blatantly hot and smoggy and blah. So watch out for that. That's the new one that's challenging us. And I'm not trying to scare you. You don't have to go put a HVAC unit in your 1930s rental, okay? But if you have an air conditioner there, it is now going to be a habitability issue if it breaks. And if you, yeah, so we want to be cautious with that. Is it one per unit or one per bedroom? No. I'm talking about an HVAC unit. So it's coming through with forced air. I'm not talking about a window unit, okay? I'm saying that they're making that habitability issues. And there's certain cities that already have it as a habitability issue. Barstow is one, Palm Desert is one, Palm Springs is another, Lancaster has that. So does Palmdale. You want me to keep going, or are you getting the gist of it? A lot of these cities already have this ordinance, okay? But now we're seeing more of LA County adopted. And it's just so they can get us on habitability issues. That's all. That, and it's just going to get hotter. I mean, I call it the devil's cauldron for a reason. I'm being funny. Okay. A tenant that is consistently late and has a sorry ass excuse. I just served him with a 3-day today. He told my assistant he was going to call me today, no doubt with another doozy. Hate to play the 90-day eviction game, but I'm sick of him playing me. He's an angry one too. You served him a 3-day today? Today's Wednesday, Thursday's day 1, Friday's day 2, Monday's day 3. Tuesday, start the eviction. Let him buy himself out of it. So wait a minute, what's Patty talking about? In corporate America, we do something called a pay and stay in eviction, okay? So what that is, simply said, is the tenant comes up with all the money plus the legal expenses, and we allow them to pay what's owed and stay there, and we continue the tenancy. We call that a pay and stay. And usually in corporate America, they allow a buyout or a pay and stay at least once during the tenancy, okay? We're finding now that we're offering less and less pay and stays and just going to eviction. Corporate America usually will still allow a pay and stay once during the tenancy. Sometimes they do it twice, but with the new laws changing in September, I got a feeling that we're going to be doing quite a bit of pay and stays. Let me explain. If I can't garnish wages unless they make more than $41 an hour, then I have no recourse for my tenant that is living in the property and making $25 an hour. Okay, I know I can't garnish their wages. So in the event I don't get my rent money, I need to be quick to evict. Got it? When they say, it's going to be 3 weeks before I pay you because I got in a car accident, my response is going to be, well, I'll go ahead and put you in legal. And then in 3 weeks, when you get paid, you can buy yourself out. Wow, Patty, you're relentless. Yes, I am when it comes to my rent money. Shouldn't you be? You understand what I'm saying? If we can't garnish their wages to get our money back, and we have no recourse to get the money back they owe us, we should be very quick to evict them. Got it? Quick to evict and let them buy themselves out. If they buy themselves out, hey, my theory is this: pay me everything that you owe me, plus my late fees, plus my legal expenses, and I'll take next month's rent in advance. So I'm not chasing it for 30 days. And if you can come up with all the money to do a pay and stay, I'd be more than happy to do that for you. Why should the expense always be following on us? Why should we be the ones that has to wait to see if they're going to pay us in 3 weeks because they got in a car accident or life happened to them? I can't afford to do that for 10 people. I'm going to put all 10 of them in eviction, and we're going to see who the LLPOF is. Do you guys know the acronym for LLPOF? We use it a lot in corporate America.
Every day.
Liar, liar, pants on fire.
So it's great when your coworker says, hey, can you go show this property? Oh, I'm sorry, I can't. I'm working this application that just came in. It appears it's an LLPOF, so I'll try to get through it as quickly as possible. It's a nice way for us to say it's bullshit, but I can't say that. So we just call it a LLPOF, which means liar, liar, pants on fire. Use it, okay? Use it. People understand what that means in this industry, okay? Your tenant doesn't know. Speaking of posting days, so we can post on the weekend, any type of notice? Yep. You can post a notice whenever you want to. Got it? You can post a notice on Saturday. You could post a notice on Sunday. You could post a notice on a holiday. You could post it on a Tuesday. Here's how it works. If it is for non-payment of rent or a cure or quit, it doesn't count weekends or holidays, and the day you serve it doesn't count. So if you serve it on a Sunday, the day you serve it doesn't count. Weekends and holidays don't count. That means Monday's day 1, Tuesday's day 2, Wednesday's day 3. I'm starting eviction on Thursday, day 4. If I serve it on a Thursday, Thursday doesn't count. Friday's day 1, Saturday and Sunday don't count. Monday's a holiday. Tuesday's day 2, Wednesday's day 3, Thursday I'm starting eviction. Got it? We can't count weekends and holidays, and the expiration of a notice to pay rent or quit or a cure or quit. If it's a 30-day or a 60-day, it is straight time. If it is a 5-day forcible detainer, it is straight time. If it's a 3-day notice to quit, you can't fix this. Don't pass go GTFO. It is straight time, 3 days. If it's for non-payment of rent or a covenant, a breach of covenant, it does not count weekends and it does not count holidays. And to add insult to injury, just so you're aware, this also applies in the unlawful detainer case during the answer period. So if your tenant has 5 days to file an answer, or 10 days to file an answer, or 15 days to file an answer, those 15 days to file an answer don't count weekends or holidays. Got it? So it affects you in 2 places, in the expiration of your notice and in the answer period for the tenant. So if the tenant has 5 days to file an answer, but it's over the 4th of July holiday and the weekend, they really get more than 4 days because the holidays don't count, weekends don't count. Got it? Just trying to make you understand there's 2 places that takes effect. One is on the notice and the other one is in the answer period that the tenant has to file an answer. Weekends and holidays don't count in the answer period of an eviction either. I hope that made sense.
Hi,
Okay.
Patty.
Hello. I found more
Hi.
questions, so I was going back, but
Oh,
I'll take.
okay. Okay, no. Go
What you
ahead.
got?
I'll wait my turn.
Go, girl. What you
Oh,
got?
okay. I have a few questions. It's my first time on your chat, and this is really great. I'm getting a lot of great information.
Welcome. My team welcomes you. We're all like-minded.
Thank you. My first question is, if I have a tenant in the city of Southgate who has a van in his parking space, but it's doesn't work. The tires are flat, and my insurance company is not allowing that car to be there. So I've written him a notice to please take the car out, and he keeps evading and saying, "Oh, next week, I haven't had the time," et cetera, et cetera. What notice can I serve them so that I can assure that the car is taken off?
Not that
Taken
easy.
out?
Not that
No.
easy.
It never is.
What does your lease contract say? So what does your rental agreement say regarding cars and parking? Does it say that the cars must be registered with current registration?
I don't know. I'd have to check.
Okay, so I'm going to tell you to refer to your written rental contract to see what that says, because if it says that cars kept on the property must be current with tags and registration and it's not current, then you could give them a 3-day cure or quit notice.
Okay.
Makes
So
sense?
let me check that.
Okay.
Yes. And then the second question is in another property in LA.
Contract, just so you know. Okay, what's your next question?
Okay, it's kind of similar, but in another property in the city of LA, in their carport, the tenant has like hundreds of wood pallets. I don't know if he works in the industry or what, but he has a lot of work pallets. And I've also sent him a letter kindly asking him to remove that because it's a fire hazard and, you know, roaches and all of that stuff. And he also hasn't moved it.
Find the part of your contract regarding storage.
Okay. Storage or what? I'm sorry?
Cleanliness.
Okay.
Because technically that's hoarding or it's a pack rat. Don't use the word hoarding, okay? Use the word pack rat.
Okay.
Hoarding disorder that gets diagnosed by a medical provider. I'm assuming you're not one, so don't die. Call them a pack. Unfortunately, it's unsightly and can be an attractive nuisance for vermin. Got it? Attractive nuisance for vermin. I gave you legal terms. Sorry.
You know, you were cutting in and out. You said attractive
nuisance for vermin.
Okay.
Okay. Just so you guys know, vermin.
Okay.
Rats and cockroaches are vermin. An attractive nuisance means that it's unsightly and attracts bad behavior, like cockroaches, rats, mice, etc. That's another thing that's an attractive nuisance is a trampoline. It attracts a nuisance. Got it? It attracts a problem. It attracts people to break their legs. Okay. Also, a portable swimming pool could be an nuisance. Okay. So
Okay, very
you-
good.
those terms, they will help you, I promise.
Okay, great. And then
And
third and lastly, I have a question.
insurance company because it's an attractive nuisance. Okay. And what's the third one?
Excellent. Third and last, listening to I saw here that that we can only ask for a 10% rent increase. I have also a property I have quite a few buildings in the city of Southgate. And in the city of Southgate, I called AGLA and to see what was the maximum rent that I could increase. And they told me 8.8. Is that correct?
I'd have to look, but individual municipalities within LA County are coming up with their own B&B. That's bureaucracy and BS. Okay. So
Okay.
I know for a fact Baldwin Park caps their increase at 4%. So you need to Google the individual city within the county is what I tell people. So what I do is I open Google and I put City of Southgate, California, or I'll put LA County, and then I put rent control, and then I hit search. Okay. And if no city with their restrictions and their BS, chances are I don't have that problem there. Also, if I could give you a tip and a trick, it would be this. Full disclosure, I work full-time at Fast Eviction Law Group. Okay. It's how I know about all the new laws coming at us. With that being said, if you go to fastevictionservice.com and click up in the top corner on tools, TOOLS, it has a rent CPI generated calculator there where you put in the city and how much your rent is, and it tells you what the new amount is that you can ask for. You're welcome.
Brilliant, thank you. And plus, I know that's where I met you at Fast Eviction.
Program, and I'm telling you, utilize it to your advantage. It also helps
absolutely.
It also helps you figure out pro rates so that you don't make a mistake.
Okay, very good.
Two tools property managers really need help with. It's CPI generation and figuring out a pro rate. So we had our computer web guy generate a program that would help you with both of those. You're welcome.
Excellent. Thank you so much.
No problem. It's my way of trying to help out of what would I want if I was a property manager dealing with everything that's being thrown at us. I'd want an easy way to figure out a pro rate and an easy way to figure out what the CPI was.
Thank you.
No problem. All right. I see more questions, so I'm going to start answering them. I see Tony. Years ago, I asked an attorney and his associate if you can write in the rental application as an option to answer a question if they are U.S. citizens or legal residents or authorized to be in the U.S. These attorneys couldn't answer my question. My reason for this is because during that time, ICE was looking to deport immigrants that were denied legal status in the U.S. and they were breaking down doors and tearing the apartments apart looking for these individuals to deport. It turned out those tenants didn't and are no longer live there. They were just using it as a mailing address for immigration reasons. You got to be really careful, Tony. And the reason is immigrational status is a protected class in the state of California. We can't discriminate against illegal aliens, illegal immigrants. We just can't. They are a protected class. So you have to be extremely cautious with that. So you can ask if they're a legal resident or a legal citizen, but the reality is if they say no, you can't deny them. And the way I see it now, and this is just me talking to you, okay? The way I see it now is they're still deporting them. I could tell you right now, ICE is still deporting illegal immigrants that are breaking laws within our country. Wait, what? So So yeah, they'll let them come in until they're blue in the face. Once they break the law here, they get deported. No joke. And don't get me wrong. Don't get me wrong. They're not going to deport them for a moving violation. Okay. But if they're doing drugs or using guns or in possession of illegal firearms in this country or things along those lines, they will get deported. They're not allowing them to stay in this country and break our rules. Okay. So that I can answer for you. All right. Regarding the air conditioners, I have a triplex in Kern. Rents are low at $850 each. One of the coolers died. I figured it would be great to swap all coolers with AC units. I had 2 bids saying each AC would be about $6,000 with installation and new ducts. That's $18K, so it's not worth it. So back to researching evaporative coolers. So now you understand why everybody in LA County went, whoa, what do you mean it's a requirement? No. They're making AC a habitability issue. And it will be a requirement in new construction for residential dwellings within this county, I'm sure. For rental agreements, what would be reasonable days and times to pay rent that I should write in? Some have Monday through Friday from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m., but people work and always running late if they drop off the rent on the 1st. The reason that you're giving dates and times that they can pay their rent in the rental agreement is for your 3-day notice. Okay. In the event you get into court and the tenant says, I didn't know where to pay my rent to. Well, your lease contract tells you where to pay the rent to. It even gives you days and times to pay the rent. That's the why behind that. Okay. So Monday through Friday from 8 to 5 is ideal if you're at work during those hours or you want them to pay you during those hours. But yeah, Monday through Friday, 8 to 5 is ideal. I get that they drop off the rent on the 1st, but in all fairness, Tony, they could mail it to you on the 25th and avoid all of that, couldn't they? Don't bend. And I'm going to tell you right now, I guarantee you guys, that come September 1st, when these new laws take effect, you guys will then pay attention to what I'm telling you and you will remove your grace period from your lease contract. You will make rent due on the 1st, delinquent on the 2nd. Late fee applies on the 2nd. You will remove the grace period. You watch. Listen to me this way, okay? If I can't garnish their wages to get my money back, okay? And the chances of me being able to charge late fees going forward are currently being heavily litigated, and the chances of us losing them in the entire state are actually very high, or them setting a ridiculous amount for a late fee, like $25. Woo. That's high. That's most likely going to happen. Why would we give them a grace period? Think about it. Because you're trying to be nice? Why they're holding your house hostage against you? This is business. We don't need to be nice. We need to do our job. I think you guys will find that you're removing your grace period in the near future. You watch, mark my words. They live next door. They can drop it off in the mail slot. Yep. Monday through Friday, 8 to 5 is a reasonable time. If a tenant moves out and has late fees from a few years ago, can you deduct from security deposit if they have any left over? Yes, you can. Yes, you can. It's a great time to charge them for late fees. All right, does anybody have anything else, or I'm gonna end this for today and get on with my day. If you guys need me, hunt me down. You can always call me at Fastavict. I'm here. I know I should have taken the fee out of the current month, but I didn't. What fee, Val? Oh, the late fees? I got you. You can always, if they're still in possession of the property and they didn't pay you, you can always take it out of the security deposit at a later date when they vacate and you're allocating funds. You can take it then. All right, bye everybody. Have a great week. If you need anything, hunt me down, call me. I'm over at Fastavict if you need me. And I will see you guys next week. Bye everybody.
Thank you, Patty.
Bye.
Thank you.
Got it. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.